Hi, I'm Janet Fletcher. I'm your instructor for Cheese, Milk's Leap Toward Immortality, a deep dive into one of the world's favorite food groups. Certainly one of my favorite food groups. I've been a curd nerd for a long time, and in these four lectures, I want to share with you some of my passion and some of the knowledge about cheese that I've gained along the way. I think what I love most about cheese is not just that it's tasty, we all know that, but that it takes us in so many different directions, down so many fascinating paths of discovery. We learn about dairy science, about history, about culture and geography, climate, landscapes, animal husbandry. All of these will be part of our conversation over these four lectures. I am going to start with a lecture on what I call a history of cheese in 5 slices. So we'll talk about where cheese began, or where cheese presumably began, what it was like, and then how it developed across the ages. So by looking at 5 different cheeses that are of great historical importance, we'll look at that timeline of cheese and some of the key moments in cheese's development through the ages. Our second lecture is cheese making in 9 steps. Now, you might look at a glass of milk and then at a plate of cheese, different cheeses, and wonder how can you make milk go in so many different directions? Well, in this lecture, that's what we'll look at. We'll look at some of the decisions that a cheesemaker makes along the way that transform milk into everything from a brie to a Gouda to a cheddar. And I think at the end of this lecture, you're going to have a much better understanding of how cheese is made. Our third lecture is a look at 10 great cheesemaking regions around the world. I'm not going to tell you what they are yet, but these are all very important cheesemaking regions, so you can imagine that the Alps is probably one of them. We'll also look at 3 key cheesemaking regions in the US, and we'll discuss why these landscapes are so conducive to making cheese. Lastly, in our final lecture, we will talk about the sensory appreciation of cheese, because I want you to be a better taster at the end of that and a better shopper. So we'll look at some videos of professionals judging cheese. We'll talk about all the different sensory aspects of cheese and how you can use your senses to evaluate cheese like a pro. And we'll conclude that lecture with a brief look at cheese and health, because I feel like there's a lot of misinformation out there about cheese's role in a well-balanced diet. So we'll take a quick look at the current knowledge about cheese and health. Now, in all 4 of these lectures, we'll have a tasting component. So if you'd like to participate in that, I will be giving you ahead of time a list of cheeses that you might purchase, and then we will, at the appropriate moment in the lecture, taste them together and talk about them. But that is an optional element to these lectures. So I hope you will join me on this very, I hope, tasty and instructive and inspiring look into the world of cheese.